Hey, what's up everybody? My name is Lorenzo and this is another quick comic book review. In these reviews I like to give just a little bit of information just to get you maybe interested in the book without revealing too much for spoilers or anything like that. But this book is an anthology, so and it's more of a historic thing. It's All Negro Comics from 1947. The same year that Jackie Robinson was breaking the color barrier in baseball, another barrier was being broken much more quietly. And it was being broken by Orrin C. Evans, who was a black newspaper reporter back in the day. Orrin worked for several black newspapers, including the Chicago Defender, the Philadelphia Independent, and also the Philadelphia Record. Now, the Record was a white newspaper, and it was a mainstream paper, and Evans was the first black writer to ever cover general assignments at a white paper in the United States. He joined the staff in the early 1930s. When the Record closed in 1947, Evans decided to try publishing comic books to, as he put it, further highlight the splendid history of Negro journalism. He founded All Negro Comics, Inc. He himself was president, and the cartoonists he hired were his brother, George J. Evans Jr., John Terrell, some guy named Cooper with no last name, and someone that signed their work Cravat. Now, the story started off with a detective series called Ace Harlem by John Terrell. Ace Harlem is jam-packed with every hip cat expression from the era. Also, the characters are just stereotypes that are drawn by non-black persons, maybe might be considered racist. The story moves along pretty clunkily, kind of an odd pace, and the premise is unlikely. At the end, they use the crime does not pay trope that was pretty much done to death most of the 40s and back in that era, the 50s, before media became much more liberated. Now, I love detective stories. Ace Harlem is not my favorite book in this, not my favorite story in this book, unfortunately. Next is the Doodillies. The Doodillies are just these little cherub-like, mermaid-like creatures, and they spend the whole story trying to find a place to hang out. But one has wings and the other has fins, so that's kind of a problem. It is a cute little story that is aimed at kids, and it's signed by the artist Cooper. Next is a 2-page text-only adventure story called Ezekiel's Manhunt, and the author did not sign their name, so I'm guessing maybe Orrin Evans himself wrote this. Just speculating, but who knows. And after that is Lion Man by George Evans. This is Orrin's brother. This is my favorite story. Lion Man is kind of like a black Tarzan, or a more low-tech Black Panther. He's an American-born, college-educated scientist sent by the United Nations to watch over the fearsome Magic Mountain of the African Gold Coast. Within his craters lie the world's largest deposit of uranium, enough to make a bomb that could destroy the world. And he has this sidekick named Bubba, who likes playing practical jokes, and they spend their time fighting interlopers and protecting the mountain. Technically speaking, Lion Man is the first black superhero. Now, there's these drawings also called, just Hip Chicks. No, Hip Chicks on Parade, and it's signed by someone named Len. And these are just kind of like one-panel gags, and somewhere between a one-panel gag and maybe a fashion drawing. There's just one page of those. And John Terrell comes back with a one-page strip called Little Eggy. And it seems to be about a man and his wife who takes his paycheck and gives him like a $2 allowance. After that is Sugarfoot by Cravat. Sugarfoot and his boy Snake Oil are a couple of hobos. They're a couple of hobos that like singing for their supper and lusting after other men's wives. I like Cravat's sense of humor and the pacing he gives this strip. The comedy is over the top, slapstick, but it works okay. Kind of like if Amos and Annie was written by black people. And it closes out with another Ace Harlem Crime Doesn't Pay full-page illustration. And the last page hints that they had every intention of publishing more comics, but this was the first and only one, unfortunately. It is believed that Evans was essentially forced out of the business when distributors and other competing publishers blocked him from even being able to buy newsprint. Now, to get a copy of this book, what I have here is a reprint. There's lots of sellers on eBay that are selling reprints of this book. This one is kind of blown up. You can see it's not actually comic book size. It's a blank page there where this should be over here. But in the back page is just a reduction of the actual back page. So it's not a great. I probably could have gotten a better copy, but there's not a lot of choices for this book out there. And the originals, the actual books you can get like a piss poor copy on eBay for like over $2,000, and there's like a 4.0 graded, listed at about 6,500. So this is a very rare book, and you can find it in any shape whatsoever. It's a rare find. Now, I'm going to talk about is Orrin Evans and what he had to go through. I just can't imagine, being a person who publishes their own comics as well. I'm self-publishing my own comics, and it's just so easy now with the internet, with computers, and all this. And I just can't imagine. I really feel for this guy that he had to go through all this, and he had this vision, and he was unable to fulfill it. And it's really sad. He did get one done. He had to charge 15 cents rather than 10 cents, which was the going rate for most comics back then. That was one strike against it. I guess the nickel was a big deal because probably like inflation wise, it was a lot more to pay for a comic, and there was just a lot of unfortunately a lot of racism in the business, and there was a lot of forces against him. Foster was going to publish their own line of black comics, so they were instrumental in him not being able to publish another book. And I want to find out more about this guy. It was kind of I'm glad he made this one book. These artists got together, and it seems like, in my opinion, maybe his brother was the driving force behind this, because he knew his brother was the best artist among these guys, and he wanted to get a vehicle for his brother in this book. And I don't know what happened to these guys. I don't know if his brother worked in the industry, but that's something else I can research and find out. But anyway, it's way beyond a 2-minute review now. But so yeah, I mean, this is a monumental book. Well, that's it for now. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this review. I'll be back with more shortly. Until then, keep reading comics. Hey, don't forget to subscribe and leave a thumbs up.